pleased to bring in our panel now to weigh in on where we are at this very moment on a historic day. Attorney, a GOP strategist, Mehek Cook with us, and also criminal defense attorney Dwane Cates. Welcome in, panel. Great to see you both.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so many questions about how this jury was instructed. We do know they had some questions. If folks are just joining us off the top of the broadcast, we went through them, but it bears repeating. They wanted to know more about David Pecker's testimony, the catch and kill. It sounds like, Mehek, that they really are at the very early beginning stages. Hard to predict, but it wasn't like they were back in an hour with a verdict here. What are your thoughts as we enter day one, no verdict, and this jury with these instructions?
Well, I think it's interesting that the jury came back and asked for another reading on instructions. That means that they're unclear. But I have to point out, we should have had an expert on catch and kill and the fact that this is not illegal. The judge refused to give that instruction to the jury. The judge refused to say that hush money payments are not illegal. They're akin to a settlement agreement. The judge refused to allow an expert from the FEC testify about what a campaign contribution is. So I think what you're seeing, Bianca, is confusion from the jury, which is going to be helpful for an acquittal.
Yes, if there is a conviction. Let's just play a little bit of CNN, and I want to get your reaction, Dwane, to even some of the left side talking about this case and the lack of evidence.
Just so people can follow along at home, because the crime here is not easy to explain and understand. We're working on a visual for tomorrow, but it's basically a three-step here for the prosecution, which is not great, but they can still do it.
They're working on a visual here. We need a Venn diagram, like, you know, Kamala Harris loves. We need something here. Where's the crime? You know, how is this America? How is this America when they're looking at a case? Voters out there are saying, huh? And even the jury might be saying that as well, Dwane.
You know, every place I've ever tried cases, the jury always got a copy of the jury instructions. How do you expect to read 20, 30 pages to a jury, spend an hour reading it to them, and then say, okay, take this man's freedom into your hands and apply the stuff I just told you? You know, I don't understand half the jury instructions, and I've been a lawyer for 27 years. You know, they're complicated, and not having them with you in the jury room, it's going to be impossible for them to try to apply the law to the facts.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is he doesn't want him to have it because part of them, and I'm looking at some of the instructions here, that they must prove beyond a reasonable doubt every element of the crime. And I don't think that was done, even though in the closing arguments they tried to surmise all these things about, you know, FEC violations. When we never heard from Bradley Smith, you know, they also have to not speculate how long sentencing may be. He said, judge says that's up to him, but it is a potential. I mean, Todd Blanche laid it out there before, and you just mentioned the freedom there, Dwane. This is very serious, and jail time's not, you know, I don't think it's likely, Mehek, but it is something that the jurors have to contemplate in there as well.
Look, it's not likely, but these types of sentences do carry jail time for every single one of those counts. It's up to 4 years. So this is a very heavy burden for the jurors. And I truly believe that the judge interfered again with this process. He specifically denied the jurors from having the instructions so that they could deliberate reasonable doubt, so they could deliberate elements of a crime, so they could actually understand what are they speaking about, what are they deliberating on, and then execute a thoughtful verdict. This is election interference. We have seen it from the start of the case, and the judge is continuing to allow this towards the end of the case. It's, again, shocking to me to see that we still don't know the definition of a campaign contribution, what a hush money payment is, and this judge has continued to string these jurors along. Remember, he allowed 8 days for them to be off absconding and watching the news.
Yes, and they are a New York jury. Final 10 seconds, Dwane, put a pin on it, what your thoughts are tonight as we look ahead to tomorrow.
Well, you know, until I went to law school, I didn't know what the elements of a crime were. I don't know that it was adequately explained to them. You know, this is a farce. It's an absolute farce, and they should have been back with a not guilty verdict already.
We will see. Dwane Cates, Mehek Cook. There are 2 lawyers on this jury, so we do have hope and faith in the human race still. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, more Newswire. Stay with us. We'll be right back.